Hello there guys, and welcome back to another review. And today we will be taking a look at one of the strangest looking figures in my collection. This is the PNSO Zewail, or Zewail, the Atopodentatus. Now before we take a look at the figure, as always we'll take a look at the box. So as always the figures are done in this very nice box. You can see there's a nice image here of the Atopodentatus. At the top it says Zewail or Zewail. Zewail, the Atopodentatus, PNSO, Prehistoric Animal Models that Accompany Your Growth. On the top we have another up-close image of the Atopodentatus. It says here, every life deserves your respect, and the same thing in Chinese. There is the Chinese section. Shows an image there of the Atopodentatus. It's been drawn. There's the Chinese side, there's the English side, and then underneath as well. So yeah, very, very nice box. But oddly enough, they don't include a booklet with this figure, which is quite peculiar. But here we have, and there is a plane. But here we have the PNSO Atopodentatus, and what a very peculiar looking animal. It is very odd. I actually remember when this guy was first described. But before we look at the figure, I'm going to give you guys a few facts about the animal. Now, Atopodentatus, which name means peculiar teeth of unique shape, is a genus of marine reptile, possibly a basal sauropterygon, that lived in the Middle Triassic period 247 to 240 million years ago in what is now southwestern China. It was around 3 meters long, so fairly large for the time. And when it was originally described back in 2014, it was originally thought that the jaw had sort of a zipper-like shape. I actually remember the original look of this figure. But it wasn't until 2016 with another discovery that showed that the head was more hammer-shaped, sort of looking a lot like a Nigersaurus, in my opinion. And this was actually a herbivorous animal feeding on seaweed and algae, which is very unique, as many marine reptiles at that time were carnivorous. So it seems Atopodentatus had found a niche for itself in the Triassic seas. But with that out of the way, let's take a closer look at the figure. Now, the head sculpt is very, very colourful. It has a very, very colourful looking head. You can see that boomerang shape, the teeth as well. They have sort of been individually painted, but it's more just like a line going up, but you can see clearly the definition in there. You can see even in the inside of the mouth there's a nice glossy colour, show the wet look in there. The eyes have been done in a pure black colour, and it is just a very peculiar looking head. Must have been a very odd looking creature to see in the wild. Going down we have more of a glossy sort of look to sort of show its marine-like habitat. It's this sort of glossy coat, like this sort of wet look. Same thing on the head as well, you can see there's some nice water sheen on there. Going down to the flippers, or well, the hands, you can see there's some nice sculpt work and some nice scale work in there. You can see that the claws have been nicely done, sort of reminds me of a crocodile, the way that this has been done. Some nice claws on there, same thing as there as well. I have a little bit of a paint splodge there from where they were painting the claws, but it's no big deal for me. I just like how these have all come out with these very nice looking crocodilian like hands. I like the scale work on them, they're very, very nicely done. And we have a very long tail here that's sort of curled. See, there's some nice detail and musculature shown in there. There's also some nice muscle contortion here along the side of the animal. See, as it's sort of turning. Maybe it's using a threat display against another member of its species. Then underneath, you can actually, if I bring this up close, you can see there's actually some very tiny scale detail underneath, and that is really awesome attention to detail. Even on the underside of the hands here, you can clearly see a lot of the beautiful scale work. This is just beautifully done. There's also a line here that shows where the cloaca would be, so that's very nicely done there. Yeah, I love all of the beautiful scale work, and there's the PNSO logo there. This is just wonderful, and the colour scheme is very unique. It's a very brightly coloured looking animal, especially for something that would have lived in the water. But we have no idea what colour these animals would have been. So maybe males may have had a brightly coloured head for display, who knows? But I actually rather like this colour scheme. The sort of mustard yellowish colour with the dark green on the hands and the brown maroon striping along the body, the brown and white head stripes. Very, 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 very colourful. Very, very nice. Now, I do not have any Atopodentatus figures in my collection, so I don't really have anything to compare it to. But what I can do is bring in some of the other PNSO figures that I have reviewed, so just give me a moment. And here we are. So these are all of the PNSO figures that I have reviewed currently, the Tojangasaurus, Lambeosaurus, and Pachyrhinosaurus. I think all of these are absolutely fantastic. We have 2 from North America and 2 from China. And yeah, I'm just blown away by this, even just these 4 figures that I've gotten. These are absolutely fantastic, and I highly recommend everyone, if you can only get one PNSO figure, you're going to have a hard time choosing, but I think these are all beautifully done. They're thoroughly researched, have amazing detail, and some of them are species that have not yet been made into figure form, or are very rarely made in figure form, so I would highly recommend all of these to you. These are just absolutely fantastic, and if you do want to buy these, I will leave a link to Everything Dinosaur in the description box below, where you can purchase all of these PNSO figures, as well as the entire PNSO model range. So yes, in conclusion, I think this is a wonderful representation of Atopodentatus. Try saying that name 3 times fast. It's just a very, very peculiar looking animal. I mean, creatures from the Triassic were very peculiar, very odd looking, and Atopodentatus is no exception. So you will never find you won't find another model company that's done one yet, except the Paleo Creatures, though that uses the outdated head depiction. But this one is the most up-to-date that I've seen, and I would highly recommend you guys pick this up. It is a wonderful looking figure, a very odd, peculiar looking animal from our past. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this review. Please like, comment, subscribe. Please stay safe out there, and please wear your masks, guys. Hello there, guys.